What's going on? Welcome to the second market strip down session of this week, like I promised. I gave you a few different options. Obviously, the one that I didn't draw out played out, but I had told you that somewhere in this area we could find structure. And to obviously be careful with this wick as well. I can't remember, I don't know exactly where I said. I don't know if it was anywhere from here to the bottom of the wick or where it was, but I know I had mentioned in this area that we could see price get rejected. If we go down or go up, sorry, to the 1 hour, we can see that it did go just past where this breakthrough, and then it didn't use it as resistance. It pushed up super strong bullish engulfing there to start off the bullish move on Monday. And we can see it pushed up, went into consolidation, came back and just missed this original high created at market open on Sunday/Monday. We can then see, so let me just clear off a few things here. So let's mark that. We can also mark this. All right, there, key levels. So, for me, I would be looking for, let's just see how the dailies are forming. Yeah, we're finally getting some rejection up in here. So, as long as this daily candle rejects and holds somewhere around where it is for the rest of the day, which I can't really see it going anywhere far, seeing as it is the closing hours of New York. So, for me, I'd be looking at break below somewhere. I'm going to put it in the middle because it could be at either one of those two levels. That when we break below, we use them as a resistance. So I'd like to see a rejection. The other option would be that it pushes up. Let me actually fix this. The other option would be that it pushes up to here and then drops. So either pushes up, gets rejected at Monday's high of the day, which we can also see broke above, used it as support, broke through it, broke back above it, broke back below it, lower high, about an equal high. So yeah, if we do break this structure up in here, these upper wicks, if we do break these upper wicks, I'm gonna say it goes from, if we break above here, we have about 100 pips. We have probably like a 70% chance of making new all-time highs. If we break above here, I would say it goes up to maybe like 90 or 95% chance that we go and create new all-time highs. But this is still a good entry for sells if there's multiple rejections like we've seen previously. Multiple rejections, obviously shy of that level, but multiple rejections to show that we will continue bearish. Not big on trend lines, to be honest with you, because the EMAs that we use usually work a lot cleaner and end up in the same areas. But I mean, that would be my update for this. Is either a slight push up, maybe it pushes down a bit more just before market close to give a little bit more rejection, and then because I mean the daily candle opened here, right? So I think maybe we close somewhere around here, somewhere from where we are now down to maybe 31.17, 31.18. So anywhere between 31.22 and 31.17, I'd say. About that 50 pip range is a good area for us to close out. And then we push up, have a daily upper wick formed, create a lower high from these three previous ones, a lower high, maybe even just slightly past this, it wicks past it maybe and hits 31.31. Yeah, 31.31, 30.88, somewhere around there. Creates the new daily upper wick, and to be honest with you, I think that we're gonna see a big move for Thursday. I think after we've been in a range now since realistically Monday, we're basically at the same price that we were Monday morning, Monday middle of the day, more or less. Obviously it's moved throughout that period, but I think we'll see NFPs move on Thursday. And then Friday, maybe we'll see a quick spike in both directions for half an hour, 45 minutes. And then it'll just range where it is. That's my opinion as of now. Just obviously seeing that we've just been ranging. I have a feeling that we'll see a big move tomorrow for Thursday. And then Friday, maybe it trends a little bit before NFP. It spikes both directions, creates a range and big wicks in both directions, and then just ranges inside of that upper and lower wick until the end of the week, until the end of the daily candle Friday, end of the week. Yeah, that's my analysis for the rest of the week, my outlook, my opinion. I hope it helps you. God bless, and wishing you an abundant and blessed rest of the week. Take care, brush your teeth, comb your hair. Ciao, ciao. What's going on? Welcome to another market strip down session. We can see the analysis, not from last weekend's, but from Wednesday's. We can see the movement here from the Trump tariff announcement. We can then see that it gapped up on market open back up after the 1 hour close on Wednesday evening, Eastern Standard Time, obviously. Pushed up, created new all-time highs. We can see on the 4 hour actually a very clean fake breakout. Fake break of structure, broke out and came back, closed back below, and just went bearish from there. We can also see that if I was to adjust this line and do right off the high, we can see that this would be the first 1 hour candle of that new 4 hour candle. Closed below, the next one closed obviously below again, but tried to break through it, used it as resistance, failed. The next one used it as resistance again, failed, and we could just continue to drop from there. And then we went straight to the target, literally to a T. I had this last, not the last Friday, obviously, that just closed, but the one prior to that, which would have been the only Friday, which would have been the last Friday at that point. We used that low of the day as a support, literally touched it, pushed past it by 2 or 3 pips, I think it was, and then reversed back up, consolidated, pushed down, pushed back up. NFP came out, and we just continued bearish from there. Ended up filling the wicks from the daily wick from the previous day. So with that being said, let's clear this off. Let's go up to the weekly. Right away, I'm going to mark out 2 different areas. I'm going to mark out the upper wick, which we just closed below from 2 weeks ago, plus the prior week's high. Go up to the daily, or go down to the daily, sorry, we can adjust these. There's nothing else to really base off of at this exact moment. I mean, maybe this would be the next area below. Go down to the 4 hour now. Yes, we have those areas again. Let me adjust that. Adjust that. And adjust that. So I mean, right away off the bat, we can see that the last 4 hour closed bullish. So something that I would be looking for. I mean, I'm going to be overall bearish, obviously, I'm going to be bearish for the overall week, but we have to keep in mind that we have to create an upper wick on the weekly. Right, so if we're going to create an upper wick on the weekly, another area to watch for in there would be there as well. If we're going to create an upper wick on the weekly, that means that we have to push up, maybe not for the entirety of Monday, but we could have a bullish push up Monday, and then maybe we push up to here Monday, then it rejects, and then we push up Tuesday, London session, then New York session reverses down, and we start the bearish move for the week. I mean, anywhere between here, so this high from 30.57, which I drew out on the weekly, as well as this other weekly level that I drew out. Anything in between there, we could find structure, as well as there's going to be multiple zones. The zones that we use, there'll be multiple within this area, because I mean we have 30.86, about 290 pips, almost 300 pips. With that being said, I would look for sells from anywhere. I wouldn't look for sells really below this level, because I think that we do have to use this as an all-time high for this coming week to think that this at minimum will be the high of the week. 30.57, 30.58. Again, we could push up a little higher and create an upper wick in this area in here and then fall from there. But I would look for a push down probably first. I wouldn't really be looking for a buy off of here. I just think that this is what will happen first, that we'll push down and then push up and then continue down. And I think that we'll definitely test this area this week. If it plays out the way that I'm thinking that it will, I think that we'll break through it, and we will end up somewhere down here. Is there an arrow tool? I think that we'll end up somewhere. Oh no, I thought that was a draw. I thought that was a tool to draw an arrow. Is there one? I swear there was one. Maybe it's somewhere else. Lines. Yeah, I think from this level we'll then retarget down to here. Why do I say that? Because this would be previous all-time highs that were then broken on March 13th, and we broke through it, and we haven't used this area as, I don't think, let me just confirm before I say it, but I don't think that there was a previous all-time high up here. No. So I mean, that would have been previous all-time highs. Look at this. This is insane. That is absolutely insane. I mean, it's technically just been, obviously there's going to be pullbacks, but it's been just pushing up because we have an equal low here. Let's just see what loads to the left here, if it loads. Maybe if I scroll like this, it'll load it quicker. But I mean, just by looking at what we have loaded there, it has been rising since October of 2023. That's like 12,000 pips, I think. 13,300 pips. Imagine taking one standard lot down there. But yeah, I mean, for this upcoming week, this is what I'm, and actually when I scroll out further like that, I think it makes quite a bit of sense to do something like this. Definitely at minimum, it has to come up here for me to be looking for sells, and then I'd be targeting down here again, just because we broke this, and we haven't used it as support since we broke through that structure. So I think that we'll use this as support and structure, and then probably come back up in range into this area again. Maybe eventually go up and create all-time highs again, but I mean, that would be my market strip down for this coming week. As of now, maybe midweek again, depending on how it's going, I'll do an updated video. But yeah, other than that, I don't see any other possibilities or situations that can happen. Maybe it comes here first and then it pushes up, but that would be the only other thing that I could see at this exact moment. So hopefully this gives you some good insight and helps you this coming week. God bless you. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, brush teeth, comb your hair. Ciao, ciao. Howdy diddly do, folks. So we have last week's market strip down here. Of course, it did the last of all the options that I listed, which I didn't even draw out. So if you go back and watch it, you'll see that I said that there's a possibility that we come down here first, which is what we did. Then we proceeded to push up to all the areas. Only one good 4-hour confirmation off of there. The 1 hours probably don't even look that good up in that area. Push up rejection. And then came back down and used this area. Let me clear all this off. Use this area as support and structure. Broke through it, struggled there for a bit, then pushed up again, came back down, used that as structure, then pushed up. Then used this area as structure. Closed off the day, started the next day on Thursday, and just continued bullish from there. Just created new all-time highs. So I mean, the only valid thing from last market strip down would have been a buy off of that bottom, which I wouldn't have done because my bias was overall bearish for this week. I didn't take any manual trades. The bot took a few, but that's about it. With that being said, let's clear that off again. Let's go up to the weekly. Crazy weekly candle. Wow, around 2,900 pips from top to bottom this week. That is crazy. Familiar candlestick formation though. I definitely think that we'll have a bearish week ahead. Not massively. I don't think that we'll pass last week's low. I definitely don't think that. I don't see us passing last week's low, but we'll use that previous week high as a level. Honestly, there's going to be some, obviously, lots of movement. Again, I see it closing bearish on the week, but I don't see a massive correction this week, I guess. So obviously mark the all-time highs there. previous week's high. Nice structure point through here. Structure, broke through its structure, broke back above its structure again. Where's my arrows? So how do I do another one? Does that let me do? I can't do like consecutive clicks. Probably up until like here, maybe a little less. Around there. You know, let me just. It's gonna make a huge difference, but. Then I would like to see a break below. Maybe not all the way down to here. Maybe not all the way down to here. We also have this other level here. It's also area of interest there. So we could get rejected off of that. But ultimately, I want to see... I mean, we have to make some sort of upper wick. So always keep that in mind. Even if we do go bearish, we do have to have some sort of upper wick formed. I'm looking for a push down to 3100 looks like a good area. I think the 3100 is a lot better than... Let's adjust this. But it just looks like it's too close. Even though it's really not. It's almost 700 pips. I'm going to leave it in the middle to signify that I think it could use either one of those levels. And then from there, probably bounce, come back up close to this area, and then I would like for a continuation the following week. We would need some sort of rejection off of this level, and a weekly close below. If we get a weekly close back below this level, that's a strong confirmation that we will continue back bearish, and then we can retest last week's lows. Look at how far that is. That is crazy. Not shocking, but crazy. Very, very interesting. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't really see much at the moment. Maybe I'll do a midweek update since we're at all-time highs. I'll do a midweek update maybe Wednesday, like a few weeks ago, 1 or 2 weeks ago. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'd be looking for essentially. And I like to draw it like this too, because it kind of, over time, seeing the charts for so long, you kind of see patterns repeat. And I like to actually see a visualization and see if it makes sense how I'm thinking that that price could form. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to form like this. It can form however it wants. But I like to see a visualization to try to confirm if it would make sense if candles formed like that. You understand? And try to think, okay, if weekly, the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, all these candles have to form a certain way. That's why I'm thinking that we'll have a push down if we do have this initial first move, and then we break below the 3168 on the second retest. I can't see it happening on the first one. I think that there would have to be some sort of bounce and pullback to induce some buyers, and then we break below that level, that previous, not this last week, the week before's high. Then we break below that level, and like I said, come down to 31. Looks like a good area. 31 looks like a good area, but so does the 3057. 3057, 3058, somewhere around there. 3056. Anywhere in that area. In between these two levels, I'd look for a rejection. Lots of lower wicks on the 1 hour, obviously more on the 30 minutes and even more on the 15 minutes. And then a pull back up, and like I said, for the fall, not this coming week, but for the week after, for that week to also be bearish, because this all could happen and then it pushes back up and then we're just left with tiny bearish body or maybe even a bullish body, tiny bullish body with a massive lower wick. For the following week after that to go bearish, we would have to 95% close below this this weak upper wick over here. So other than that, I don't really see much at the moment. I hope this brings us some information as to what could happen in the week ahead, and I'm wishing you a blessed, abundant, and fruitful weekend. Like always, take care, brush your teeth, and comb your hair. Ciao, ciao. What is going on? Welcome to today's market strip down session. Doing a little bit later than usual. Just spent the time relaxing and enjoying a beautiful Easter weekend, and I hope all of you did as well. You spent some time reflecting and doing things that were important. We have last week's analysis here. So, I mean, it did play out a little bit. We did have the retest of that level like I assumed. And, I mean, let's just say you didn't even catch the top. Let's just say that you caught it from here. You would have gone about 400 pips into profit. We did have a strong level here from the Friday before, which held true. We can get rid of everything now. And obviously we're making all-time highs. Let's go up to the higher time frame. Just see how the candles are forming. Obviously there's not going to be any previous support or resistance to go off of, but we can see that the monthly candle is extremely strong. We can see the weekly. I mean, we're only 3/4 of one day in since market open for the week, but we don't have that big of a lower wick yet, so there is potential to maybe see reversal there. If we go up to the daily, we can see some levels that we can start plotting in. We have this here. Can plot in Friday's low as well. I mean, everything else is super far away. Or what, 300 pips from here? $250 pips. 4 hours. See if we see any exhaustion on any time frames. I mean, 4 hours of now is getting rejected. It's only been open for 38 minutes, more or less, but it has already created an upper wick and it's getting rejected. We can see that we did have a nice low formed here on Friday, and then just a continuation up right at market open. About 8 hours of choppy uptrend, and then another 4-hour push up to where we are now. So we'll see that again, strong, and then 8 hours of chop uptrend, 4-hour, 3-hour push, the first candle, and then 3 hours following give us a nice 4-hour candle push up. We are on the 1 hour starting to reject there slightly, ever so slightly, on the 30-minute as well. Yeah, so let's adjust this. Let's actually adjust these on the 4-hour. So get that one there, get this here. So I mean, let's get Friday's high in as well. So, I mean, ultimately, we could see a rejection off of this level. I'm sure that we have a zone somewhere near this rejection level. If you have your zones plotted out, you should see that. I don't have my gold zones updated yet to these highs, but could see that. I mean, the first target, if we do have a rejection, obviously with multiple 30-minute, 1 hour, maybe 1 or 2 4-hour candle confirmations up here, we could have a potential signal off of the all-time highs for a pullback, like we've seen many times before. Pulled back, not really a pullback last week, but Friday slight pullback before a little bear or a little bullish push before market close. But I think with it being Monday, I think this was one last push up to create an all-time high. Before we potentially have a bearish week, especially as it is going to be the last, more or less the last full week, at least, of April. So it'll give us a slight rejection on the monthly, which will then allow us to come back up on the new month. I say if we have closes below, if we see the market push back below, because we didn't even really use it as a resistance or support. So, I mean, we could have two things that happen. Boom, pushes down, uses Friday's high as a support, pushes back up. Or breaks below Friday's high, uses it as a resistance, continues down. We would then target Friday's low of the day, and we could, let me just keep using this one. Let me just keep using it all the way down to here. So, I mean, these are multiple areas where we could see rejections, basically. If we keep breaking these areas, obviously we will it's a nice area as well. Obviously, if we keep breaking these areas, we'll target the next one. But with every break of an area, once we get to the next structure point, we could see a bounce and a reversal back up, and then maybe rejection off of one of those. You know what I mean? Like it bounces off of, let's say, the 32.83 here. Then it comes back up, uses 33.18 as a resistance. Then it drops down to here, and then it uses 83 as a resistance, and then it drops to here, and then it uses the 45 as a resistance, you know. So, I mean, other than that, I don't really see anything. I am going to do another updated one, maybe Wednesday, late Wednesday, once the session's done, just to see how the rest of today went, tomorrow, and obviously Wednesday's session, to get a better idea, because we are, again, in no man's land. At least on gold dollar. I think gold euro we're maybe retesting all-time highs from a few weeks ago. I have to double check, but on gold dollar at least we are again at all-time highs. We keep making all-time highs, so I don't really see, I mean, anything else below is just far away. We have so many strong levels that we would need to get through. So, I mean, as of now, that's going to be my market strip down for today, tomorrow, Wednesday, and then let's see how and where we are by then. I hope you guys have an amazing and blessed week ahead, and we'll see you on the next one. Ciao, ciao. What is going on, peeps? Welcome to today's market strip down session. We can see last week's analysis. So it pushed past the all-time high. We then had a nice formation at the top. If it'll switch. We had a perfect sell entry at the all-time high. If you studied and you know one of our favorite setups for gold, you'll know that this is the fake breakout setup. First candle closed above, second candle closed back below. You can then sell from there. And I mean, obviously I did the analysis when the market was here. If you watched the last one, you would know that. So I obviously I couldn't predict a higher entry, but we're talking about a setup that ended up working out perfect, and we can see that it ended up using the levels like I had predicted. It bounced off of them. It bounced off of most of them and ended up retesting the previous one. So I mean, it ended up doing a clean bounce and retest off most of the levels. We had another level in here that I didn't mark out, which would have been good as well. I'm sure it also lines up with a zone for those who have their zones already drawn out. But I mean, yeah, risk to reward on this would have been massive. I mean, even if you got in here, you're still talking about 3 to 1. 3 to 1 risk, 2.5 to 1 risk to reward. So let's just confirm this. Let's just, so we had 700, we'll say 710 pip drawdown, and then 1676 pip profit. So yeah, about 2.5, 2.2 to 1. And lots of obviously pullbacks and continuations down in between. But let's clear off all of this. Let's start off like always on the higher time frames. The monthly time frame will be ending. I don't know how many days there is in April. 30, 31 days, who knows. It'll be ending in a few days. Nice rejection we're getting on the monthly, weekly. I mean, even if we do go bearish, which is looking like there's the potential to, I don't want to say that it will, but there's definitely potential for it to go bearish. We had a nice little exhaustion 3 here on the weekly, then we paused, pushed down, a huge explosion up 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and then 2 weeks ago, still a big weekly candle. We're talking about 2020, 2200, 2300 pips. So that with a weekly before that is massive. How many pips was that weekly before that? The weekly before that, we're talking about almost, that doesn't make sense. High, low, 29.56, so we're talking about 23,000. My math isn't math in here. Okay, so yeah, 28.9. 28.9. Come here. Okay, 1600. I don't know why my math wasn't mathing there. But up. But yeah, so we have a nice weekly rejection. The daily, I would like to see I wouldn't mind a push down to this level on a rejection. We have a few different levels we're going to be watching for here that we're going to mark up on the 4 hour like always. So let's adjust this one. We have a few different levels. I mean, this is the way we have to look at it. We have a new monthly candle starting. Let me just check, just so we can do this analysis properly. So on Thursday, we'll have a new monthly candle open. And good boy. We'll have a new monthly candle open on Thursday. wouldn't surprise me if we close the week bullish. So we close the week slightly bullish, but stay below this wick there. So the previous week's wick, so that would be this candle if I'm not mistaken, yeah. So let's mark this up. We coincidentally used that as a resistance on Thursday and Friday. Both days. I could see a wick down to here, to be honest with you. I could see a wick down to here. Monday, Tuesday. Goes down. Makes the lower wick on the weekly. Let me think. If it goes down, I would have to go down for like Monday, Tuesday. We have the new monthly opening on Thursday, which means that Thursday, that means we would have 2 days, 2 trading days of for the monthly. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that analysis. And then if we have a pullback up to this area here. Yeah. This looks like it's a possible play. And then we close the week back below here. That's what I'm gonna be looking for. I think price playing out like this would make sense. Monday, Tuesday push down. Maybe Monday push down, bounces. Tuesday push up. But definitely start the week, just not definitely that it's going to happen, just definitely based off of my analysis. And just seeing how, I like drawing it because I like seeing if it would make sense if the candles form like that, right? We have a strong area of structure here. We have a strong area of structure here. We haven't fully retested it since we broke above it. So that's a good area of interest, especially because we're not far from it, quote unquote, not far. We are relatively far from it. 750, so I mean that could take about 2 days to play out. Monday, I haven't looked at the news yet, so I don't think, I mean NFP is going to be Friday because we have a new, it's going to be the first Friday of the month. I think it could be the following week, but I'm assuming that it is this coming Friday, May 2nd. Start of the week push down. Create the weekly lower wick. We then close out on Wednesday, Thursday, somewhere around this area. So we still have a nice long upper wick on the monthly. Monthly stays somewhat where it is right now, more or less. Stays around that area. Maybe I'd close a little higher. Then Thursday, Friday, consolidation. Friday, New York session. Yeah, that's going to be my analysis for now. I honestly don't see anything other than that. I mean, we obviously it could push up, but it just does. It wouldn't. The price action just wouldn't. As of right now, this is just what I'm picturing as the most probable setup. So I mean, yeah. Hopefully, it gives you a little bit of help for this coming week and insight as to how I like to see the market and my thought process behind it, because I don't do any analysis before I do these videos. This is the first time looking at the chart since I believe Thursday. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this market strip down. I hope it helps us this coming week, and I'm wishing you a blessed and abundant week ahead. God bless. Like always, take care, brush teeth, come here. Ciao, ciao.